Greetings, guys. My name is Rex, and this is my friend Kerry Jackson, and we are here to look at guitars today. For those of you who haven't tuned into our channel, our concept here is to let Kerry, who is a studio musician here in Phoenix, just open up a guitar that he hasn't played before and put his hands on it and kind of give his reactions from not only a performer, but a studio musician's perspective. So that's what we have going on. So I've got another case here in front of you, and I know it looks like an acoustic guitar, but I can tell you that it's not. So go ahead and we'll get that open. I'll zip it this way.
Well, not everything has its own case, I realize. So you're just finding stuff you can put them in. All right, whoops. My hair is getting caught on the... oh hell. Not a very attractive guitar.
Oh, God. We'll get this case out of the way.
Well, talk about classic. A while ago, he throws the most classic Les Paul in the world at me, and now, just to remind us all of what history of guitars is all about. I like the small body. Is this what exactly? Well, tell me, what are they calling this?
Yeah. So this is a G5655TG, I believe, is the official name of it. But it's
I know all of Gretsch's names are like that, aren't they?
Yeah. In the Gretsch world, this is a smaller body, but it is a center block hollow body. So it's not entirely hollow. It does have a block going down the center, and I guess what stood out to me is, being married, you do have to make compromises. And my wife is a fan of the color purple. Well, this is amethyst, which gets about as purple as you can get on a guitar. And so...
I do my Carol Merrill.
Now, this is one I've had my eye on for some time. And a couple weeks ago, one of the shops, it was actually Adorama, had these on sale, and for normally these are about $1,000 to $1,200 range, and they had it on sale for just a couple pennies under $600.
Oh, God.
And I thought, well, I've been looking at this thing. This would be the time. You can see Kerry is looking at it now. Kerry, this is not one that I've taken to my guitar tech to set up because it's just come in so recently. It's not even got the pickup.
Well, it's still got the plastic on the pickups
taken off of it, so we might want to
Should we try to take it? Well,
sure.
Well, maybe when we stop the tune,
we'll take them off before we start playing it. But you can tell how new it is. So this is more of an out-of-the-box representation of the guitar.
Well, the block looks good, too. I can see a really solid block in there.
So it's a maple body on this guitar. It's got a maple neck. It is a set neck, and it's they call it a thin U shape. What do you think about the feel of the neck itself initially?
Yeah, like it. It's got enough heft, but it's not a big club or anything. I don't like when they're too thin. A lot of modern necks are trying so hard to be real thin this way. So
this is part of their Electromatic series. So this is made overseas.
Yeah, fine print there.
Specifically, it's probably made in China, I believe. This particular one is. Maybe it says on the back.
Do they do China? There's a lot of good Indonesia. Yeah, no, this one's crafted in China.
Okay. It's got a 24.6 scale length on it. It's a Laurel fretboard. So we've been dealing with rosewood fretboards. This is Laurel. 12-inch radius. It's got a Graphtec bone nut on it.
Oh.
What we're looking at there. The nut width is 1.6875 or 42.86. Notice those funky little thumbnail.
The classic Gretsch thumbnail, they call them for, see, it looks, with my little fat thumbs, it looks just like it.
And you probably figured out the configuration. You've got an overall volume control down there.
Yeah, Gretsch likes that master volume. Which is neat.
And then you've got a master tone, and then the other two are adjusting the volumes on the two pickups.
Which is which, you know?
I can't tell you right off without
we'll figure it out
again. So, And then it also comes with a treble bleed circuit in there. So we'll be curious to see how it rolls off volume. These are dual blacktop Broadtron pickups. And so they're humbuckers. And we just got through in the last episode looking at a Gibson Les Paul with humbuckers. These are very different sounding humbuckers.
Yeah, Gretsch humbuckers are a whole other.
And it's got the Bigsby B70 vibrato system on there and an adjustomatic bridge on the guitar itself. So, it is not an old guitar. It is a brand new guitar.
New as can be.
And it's an overseas built guitar, but it has a lot of characteristics of things that I find
Well, things have
interesting.
certainly changed, because it was like, oh, overseas, this isn't a real American guitar. Well, some of the companies overseas now are becoming as renowned as any companies in the world. Like made in Indonesia was just a few years ago was Indonesia. I want a real guitar. And now it's like, ooh, made in Indonesia. They have that so-and-so factory that makes the best guitars in the world. So,
well, we found that out with Japanese guitars when we were young.
Yeah, used to laugh at Japanese guitars, and now, man.
And some of the most beautiful guitars in the world are made there. Korea the same way, Indonesia, Vietnam, and now China. Lots of guitars coming out of China. So we'll give this Gretsch a spin, or I'll say Kerry will give it a spin. And we'll plug it in. Any other comments before we go?
Well, and I was just going to say, and we sort of love that it's from China too, because you got it for 600-ish. Come on. With all these accoutrements, you would think it was, several times as much as that. So
I haven't seen it that low. That's the lowest I've seen it, but they do have a couple of them in stock still. As we're filming this in June of 2025.
I mean, you got a deal. This isn't a $600 guitar, right?
No. It's normally in $1,000 to $1,100, $1,200.
And even as a $1,200 guitar, it's like, damn. In the old days, anything Gretsch with all this gold and all this neat stuff on it is going to be much more than that. And nothing about this looks cheaply done or anything. I mean, come on. That's a hell of a slab Bigsby. The bridge looks wonderful.
So we'll get it tuned up and we'll come back and give it a listen. Thanks. So I'm going to turn it over to Kerry and let him explore this guitar.
The Electromatic. You have to love something just called the Electromatic.
Yeah.
Gretches are cool. They have that master volume. So there's your two pickups. One down here, one up here. There's the volume for them. This is a master tone for both pickups. Let's see what the different pickups sound like. Here's the trebly bridge pickup. Both pickups. The nice Bigsby vibrato. It's no Eddie Van Halen type vibrato. It's not supposed to be, but it's wonderful for what it does. Nice. That feels solid as a rock. As Rex mentioned earlier, there's a slab of wood going down the middle of this thing, a really nice block of wood. And that's an idea that came out around the start of the 60s or whatever with the late 50s with, Gibson's ES 335 and stuff. Chet Atkins was asking Gretsch to do that forever. They kept making all those hollow body guitars, and Chet was a lover of the Gretsch guitars, of course, and he promoted them, and he was kind of the face of Gretsch guitars forever. But he was begging him from the start, make one with the damn block, because they feed back too much, and you know, when the whole guitar is really hollow, and you start trying to do stuff like a real solid whammy bar, and especially pickups get real microphonic when a guitar is all hollow. So as soon as you got a little volume going, even with no distortion, this would happen in the 50s, you know, as guys would get anywhere near the ramp and you know, it'd be like holding a microphone up to the speaker or something.
Yeah, and this guitar with the center block, very different. I have a de-armament on the wall back there that it is a hollow body.
Oh, it is truly hollow.
And two things, not only the center block, but just the smaller body feel. It's kind of different, isn't it?
Well, I love the smaller body, and I know that the traditional Gretsches are huge, you know, in the big fat hollow bodies, and there's something to be said for that. That's a big slice of Americana, and it'd always be great to have one of those too. But this guy you could really play at gigs and use, I think, on a lot of diverse stuff. Just because it looks like this doesn't mean it's all Chet Atkins and rockabilly and stuff. This is really open to just about any styles and sounds you can think of. Oh yeah, now we're at the neck. That's a pretty pickup. Nice. Of course, a guitar like this is kind of begging you to put a little slap echo on it, you know.
Wow, that really has that Gretsch tone. We're sitting here in the room. We've got a Princeton reverb probably, about 10 feet or so, 10 or 12 feet in front of us, directly in front of us, plugged in with a 57 mic in front of it, taking the signal in. So when you hear this back on the video, we'll feed that signal in. But here in the room, it's got that echoey big sound on it.
This is really, really out of the box. Rex hasn't had a chance to take this to the local luthier or anything and get a setup. So I'm actually pretty impressed with how it came out of the box.
Yeah, we just took the pickup covers off during the break there to get it started, and this showed up just a couple weeks ago. And I haven't. When we live in Arizona, I kind of let guitars sit around for 6 months or so before I try to go in and get a good setup on it, because we're just such a different environment here, and it's really getting them used to living in an air-conditioned house is what it's all about. But surprising, I measured the action on it. It was a little under 2, like between 175 and 2, so not too bad.
Yeah, and I would usually expect anything just, you know, right from the factory to be in, you know, severe need of a setup. So it says a lot for their quality that someone's, well, I can even see the bridge pieces here have kind of that classic, you know, 3 going back, 3 going back on tunematic type bridges and things where you can see the saddles that the strings are going over. That's usually an indication that somebody's already intonated it. So it's way in the ballpark. I mean, after I tuned it, if it was intonated badly, we'd hear out of tune chords, and we are not hearing out of tune chords. So imagine with the setup, because we're already pretty damn happy here.
Such a different sound compared to the last episode we did with the Gibson with the Burstbuckers in it.
Yeah.
Both of these are humbucker guitars, but boy, what a difference in overall tone.
Yeah, well,
just that sort of spanky, chimey sort of sound that you're
what did you say? These are called broad.
These are blacktop Broadtrons.
Broadtrons, that's right. Yeah, Tron. They have Filtertron, Broadtron. There's just a tiny bit overdrive. Yeah, it catches them babies.
So, Kerry, when you're working, I know you've worked in all the different studios in town over the years. When you go into a studio, into a session, and let's say you know the sort of genre that you're playing in, maybe it's Americana or maybe country, kind of focus into that range of things. Do some of the studios provide you access to some guitars so you have a bit of a selection, or if they don't, what do you take with you into a session when you know you want to be experimenting a little bit?
Yeah, a little both. Every now and then a studio will have some guitars that there might be some real gems in there, and I'm always into that. It's always fun. Dave, our friend Dave Nichols, that we kind of met each other through with Living Head Recording Studio years ago. Dave and I did a session a while back where I had brought a beautiful Alien Audio, it's called a little boutique company, 5-string bass to the session that I was going to play. And it's a great bass, and I've used it on a bunch of stuff, and I love it. But that studio had this 5-string Music Man hanging off the wall, just a black Music Man with a maple neck. And it looked like something that, Flea probably has in the closet in his, Red Hot Chili Pepper collection or whatever. And it just, God, the strings sounded like piano strings, and it just had such a sound. So I thought, well, we're here. Even though I have one of the greatest 5-string basses I've ever played in my life, there's a really cool thing at the studio. What would happen if we use that? And since then, the song that we mixed on it and the client that we worked for and stuff said, that's my favorite bass I've ever heard in my life. So it's really nice to be open to that stuff. And I love my guitars and I bring stuff. So like you're saying, if it was let's say, Americana or country or good old roots music, guitar oriented, jangly guitars and some overdriven stuff and everything. You don't really bring your, MTV 1987 shred machine or whatever to the session. Not that there's anything wrong with a guitar like that. I'm just saying that when you know that you're doing a certain kind of music, it only stands to reason. I like Jerry Jones guitars. I have a few of them.
Oh yeah.
They're remakes of Dan Electro guitars. Before there was a new Dan Electro company, which there now is again, and there has been for a few decades, and they're wonderful, by the way. Old Dan Electro is making some great stuff. and I have a couple of them. But these were copies of the old Dan Electros with the lipstick pickups on them.
Oh, yeah.
And lipstick pickups are the simplest. I mean, it's a magnet and a wire, and they were literally Dan Armstrong and the gang back in the old days bought a thing that used to be a cosmetics factory. Then it was retooled in World War II, and they literally took the lipstick casings and made bullets out of them and ammunition and stuff. So the machines and the tooling was still there. So like when they bought this factory to turn it into a guitar factory, there was all these blanks for lipsticks, like these little pieces of chrome that were meant to be stamped off and made into different shapes of lipsticks, Well, so the lipstick pickups not only look like old containers of lipstick, they were literally made from the machine, like they had a million of those laying around. That's how those pickups came about. Well, I love those pickups, and that's one of the lowest tech pickups you could possibly get. But they capture this really. So like if I was coming to my roots thing, I might bring one of my Jerry Jones or one of my Dan Electros or something. They sound great, distorted, but they also have just a fantastic, classic, clean sound,
Well, and this guitar would probably fit in that realm of
and this,
Americana.
If it was going to be Roots Day and Americana Day, it would be a shame to leave this at home. And first of all, if you're working for a client, just the psychology of it too, right? If you're working for a client that's going, man, this song's going to be kind of a combination of, let's say, John Mellencamp, Tom Petty and Bob Seger. I want just meat and potatoes, badass rock and roll with some clean guitars and some whatever, Well, if this is one of your arsenal that you pull out of the case, you've already said to the guy, I've made the right choice. I called the right guy. He knows what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that son of a bitch. Truly wonderful.
Well, it clearly does that rockabilly and that clean tone thing. Maybe just mess a little bit
let's
with
hear a little distortion.
Distortion, and then we'll kind of wrap this one up.
Yeah, here's a little more distortion. See, that sounds really mellow, kind of distortion, because it's coming from the neck, Both of them. Treble, neck pick or bridge pickup. Little sustain for you. Now see, I went for this because it kind of takes the bite out of it. I want to play American Woman so bad I can't stand. Imagine American Woman. So a very 60s fuzz tone. Well, Big Muff, that's a very specific fuzz tone. So kind of late 60s, early 70s, let's say fuzz tone. You know what else would be perfect? I Got a Line on You, Babe.
Oh, yeah.
By Spirit. Man, this is the sound. So they're all, as much as this is the great Americana meat and potatoes, you know, Tom Petty, John Mellencamp, Bob Seger guitar or whatever, check that out. You know, that's whatever you want it to be. God, that's sustaining. Sweet.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what.
But yeah, it's a blues machine, it's a country machine, it's a rockabilly machine, and even a crazy psychedelia 60s fuzz tone machine. What a fun, wonderful thing. It looks beautiful.
Well, very cool. So it looks like we got another good reaction from our resident studio musician here for a Gretsch. This, once again, is the Gretsch G5655TG. And I'm guessing it's probably built in 2024. It's probably been sitting in inventory for the last year or so, but literally it just showed up a few weeks ago. So.
And it's not heavy, but it ain't the lightest guitar in the world.
Yeah.
Just because it's semi-hollow, or more than semi, right? I mean, it's really, this is all hollow down here, and this is all hollow down there. You know, see, my finger's going to the back of the guitar right now. And it's got a carved back too, so the nice round back, and it's got some pretty shape back there, and a nice rounded top, pretty shape there. But I can even see a really, it looks like maple. I'm not sure what they make it out of, but it definitely looks like a very solid slab of maple. I wonder if I can touch it with my
the
finger.
center block even, yeah.
Yeah, so the maple.
I don't know if it's maple also.
Well, anyway, it starts about right there, so just a little beyond. Okay. Where the pickups and the thing are a very, and I mean, it's, but you know, it's a board. You know, like there's a 2x4 in there of if not more, of really solid wood. So just a great combination, because I love the hollow body thing, and it looks really great with the classic arch top and the F holes and all that stuff. But at the same time, a very functional, non-feeding back. You know, it's got the classic sound, but without the problems of a true hollow body.
I'm usually not a gold hardware kind of guy, but on this thing, with the color the way it was, I just kind of thought, no, it seems right.
It's so funny. I you know, I don't know why, but I'm that way too. I like gold about 1 in 100 times. You know, usually when I see guitars with gold hardware, I think, man, I wish that had nickel or chrome. You know, but I didn't feel that way about this one. There's something about deep amethyst, purple 50s looking Gretsch that the gold is just fine on and seems very appropriate for, and it kind of looks great with the broadtrons, how they have that black face and gold screws and everything. So, oh boy.
Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in and watching our journey exploring guitars today, the Gretsch G5655TG, and please leave us a comment on the site. We do try to respond as much as we can, and we appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate it.